Okay. The most important object in the SAP system is S_T code. Reason being, any transaction, once to do something in the SAP system, user needs to have access to the transaction code. For example, if you want to create a user ID, you need access to transaction SU01. If you want to create a role, you need access to PFCG. Now, when the user logs into the system, and when he or she executes a transaction code, the first object, authorization object, that the system checks is S_T code. Now, the transaction codes that are assigned to the user are part of a role that is given to the user. And what is the role? A role contains transaction codes. But within the role itself, the transaction codes are values for the object S_T code. So if S_T code does not contain a transaction code as a value in it, then the user cannot execute that particular transaction code. So one way to control access to the SAP system is to give or not to give access to transaction codes, and S_T code controls that access. Okay, securing by transaction code in an SAP R3 system acts as a first line of defense. So if your user does not have access to a transaction code, what can he or she do? Suppose if you don't have access to creating a ME21N, which is for creating purchase orders, can you create a purchase order? No. So giving access to the transaction codes is your first line of defense, because that what you can do as a user in the system is determined by what transaction codes access you have. Okay, and that access is controlled by S_T code. So in SAP R3 system, protecting the transaction code can include protecting both application area and the actions a user can take in the application area. So when you say application area and actions a user can take in the application area, meaning let's say you want to perform user administration. So if you have, once you have access to user administration, what you can do within the user administration area, whether you can delete a user ID or assign a role, reset a password, that kind of stuff. Those are resetting passwords, deleting user IDs, creating user IDs, those are the actions. Now, apart from S_T code, there are 4 other objects which are important from a functional standpoint. For example, okay, there are 5 major authorization objects that are used to protect which transaction codes users can use. We just saw S_T code. S_T code is the first object that gets checked. Okay. Now, depending on the functional area like HR or QM or PM or WM, warehouse management, depending on what transaction codes the user is executing, if the transaction codes, let's say a user is executing a transaction code that belongs to human HR module, like let's say PP01. Okay, that is one of the transaction codes for in the HR module. So when the user executes it, the transaction code, the first object that gets checked is S_T code. Okay, but as soon as S_T code is checked, the system will go and look for the object P_T code and see if PP01 is is given as a value in this object also or not. Now let's assume s underscore t code contains pp01, but it's not there in p underscore t code. Then the users cannot execute the transaction code. He'll get "you're not authorized" error. Okay. Now it doesn't mean every transaction code is like that. Okay, depends on the functional modules now. So these are some special objects, like p underscore t code is a special object which is needed to execute some of the HR related transaction codes along with s underscore t code. So you absolutely need s underscore t code for all the transaction code in the system. But for HR related transaction codes, you also need p underscore t code. Now when I say you need, what I mean is the transaction code that you execute has to be a value is in s underscore t code as well as in HR's case p underscore t code. If the value is there in s underscore t code and it is not there in p underscore t code, then you get "you're not authorized" error. Okay. Same thing goes with q underscore t code for QM management, quality maintenance transaction codes. So when you enter a QM related transaction code in the role, it first goes into s underscore t code anyway, but it also has to be part of q underscore t code also. If it is not part of q underscore t code, you get an authorization error. Now sometimes what happens is these objects, these special objects, do not come into the role automatically. Okay, so just because it doesn't come doesn't mean it is correct, because when the user is going to execute the transaction code, like pp01 in HR's case, he is going to get an authorization error. Okay, so you will have, so as a security administrator, you won't know how many transaction codes in HR, for example, would need p underscore t code. Okay, so you'll have to fix those errors as and when they come up. Okay, now let's say pp01 needs p underscore t code and it's not there in the role. So instead of manually entering p underscore t code into the role, you have to maintain the relationship between p underscore t code and pp01 in the transaction su24, and then edit the role so that p underscore t code will automatically come into the role. Okay, so similarly you have I underscore t code for plant maintenance related transaction codes, and L underscore t code for warehouse management related transaction codes. Okay, now not many people ask about these objects in interviews, but from an audit standpoint these are important, because let's assume pp01, it may not be correct in a real-time environment. pp01, for example, is considered to be a critical transaction code. Auditors are going to check for this object p underscore t code. Okay, so these are the 4 or 5 different objects which control execution of transaction codes in the system. Now out of the 5, 4 are module specific. P underscore t code is specific to HR transaction codes, but S underscore t code is absolutely needed by all transaction codes in the system. If the value is not there, if the transaction code does not exist as a value in S underscore t code, the users cannot execute those transaction codes, period. Okay. So the authorization objects for transaction protection that are used most frequently are S underscore t code and p underscore t code because of HR implementation, probably. Okay. So S underscore t code is the first line of defense, since it is always checked before any other authorization object. Okay, so only when you cross this check, S underscore t code check, the next objects come into play. If the value is not there in s_t code, where is the question? You don't get to the screen at all. Like for example, SU01 doesn't exist in s_t code, you will not get to SU01 at all. So what will you do? You cannot create user IDs. So that's why s_t code is called the first line of defense in the SAP system. Okay.